Izvinite na mom lošem srpskom jeziku. So I will tell you the story in English. And the story for how the Economist, as some of you guys know, it actually took one idea and 1% in the future and in the past to change the company from where it used to be in 1843 to bring it to today's kind of company in 2017. We had to take one idea and one person to actually bring everything to life. And so first I have to tell you that the story is that what's very difficult for me is that, I'm very happy to be here to talk to everyone about our story and what we did. But I only started in this 2 years ago, a little bit more than 2 years ago, in marketing. So 2 years ago, I was sitting in a conference to learn, just like you guys are, or some of you guys. And I would walk through a conference and I would be talking to my boss, and he would give me a really big problem, and I felt like the biggest imposter in the room, because everyone was so experienced, and they had years, sometimes decades of experience inside of marketing, but who was I? I used to be a web developer, and then I went into project management, and then one day, I had a boss who gave me a problem. He gave me a really, really big problem to solve. And there was a new boss, and it was completely switched over into marketing. So what was I going to do? So I had one idea, because the questions were, how do you grow? We all deal with these. How do you grow? How do you optimize? How do you take the next big idea and do something with it? Or how do you take all of the technology that you see outside and choose what you're going to use to grow your business? And so I didn't even know what I was doing. I felt like how am I going to fix this problem? I don't even really understand it. So I'm going to go into what I know, and I know technology. I know what to do. So the idea behind was that I wasn't going to try to solve a marketing problem. I was going to try to solve a systems problem. And that's where the idea really came from, to do some change. So I work at a company called The Economist, and The Economist is a profitable newspaper. It has been profitable for many years. It's been around for a very, very long time. And it's been growing very steadily over time. Few percent every year, which was great. People were very happy about that. But the problem was, and the secret was, this is in about 2014, about 2015, advertising was not exactly growing. And we were print, right? It wasn't just anything else. We were mostly print also. To move it to digital and to print, what were you supposed to do when this was happening? So we knew that a growth area was not going to be advertising. We knew we had to grow subscription. We had to get more people in somehow. But how were we going to do that? Because today's consumer is completely different than the ones before. They're actually probably getting a bit smarter than we are, faster than we are as a brand. So we have to look for new people, right? So we did some research, and the research showed us that we had about maybe 73 million people in the world, and these are globally curious, like probably you and me, English speakers in the world who are our target customers. Great. So we know this information, but now what? The big difference was that, it's not the same kind of person. These 73 million people are not the same people that usually the Economists are about. Because if you look at the Economist, there's perception that the typical Economist reader is 45, 50-year-old CEO, sitting at the top of his tower, somewhere looking down at everybody. And these are not the people that we were looking for. They were looking for new kinds of readers, people who were younger, people who were more interested in things that were outside of just economics. And a lot of people think The Economist is just about economics. So we knew that we're not going to dress and find these people the same way. The old ways are not going to work, with traditional digital marketing, doing the same things for the last 10 years. And for me, I came from the outside. So what did I know? I didn't know any of the existing practices. I just knew how to solve something like a technology problem. And I knew that people read The Economist so they can learn from us. So I thought, maybe we can learn from them also. Maybe we can learn from all the customers that are coming into our sites, clicking on our advertising, reading any of our stories. Maybe we could learn from them also. So this is where the idea kind of came from. There's one idea that we started with. So maybe we could learn from people when they were coming, and we could keep learning from them. But of course, every idea needs something behind it, and this is the amount of money that I had to do. To prove my idea out, I had 1% of a marketing budget to do anything. So what could I possibly do inside of that? I had to take something that was really small and blow it up really big. I had to make one person feel like 1,000 people. I wasn't going to write 73 million emails to everyone. So what could we do? It's a technology problem. We thought about automation and what we could do to use technology to amplify our presence. So we had one idea. We started with this one idea. So how do you take one idea with 1% of what you have and turn it into something bigger? Well, we couldn't, there wasn't enough money to actually do some kind of big campaign that was going to push everything out in one big blast, because what is that going to do? It's not going to reach enough people. We are all competing with a lot of people. It doesn't matter how big your company is. It doesn't matter how big your product is or the existing market is. We all compete in a very, very, very difficult marketplace. So I didn't have enough money to push out some giant campaign to compete with all these other news brands. So the thought was actually not to build a campaign, but actually to build a machine. So what we did was we started something called the Brand Response Initiative, and it was not a campaign. And the Brand Response Initiative was actually about pushing things out in the brand, partnering with advertising, and then learning from them every time. And so we had certain goals inside of them. The goals were actually kind of low, right? We just wanted about 500,000 new people to come in for leads that we could learn about and we could see. We were trying to test this idea out. And if we got maybe 3,000 subscriptions out of it, for us, that was really good, because that was very considerably low. There are existing channels that bring in 3,000 subscriptions every week. And so the machine that had to be built was actually something that was about bringing people in, learning about them. But it was a remarketing machine. And it was all about if somebody came in, then we would find them and then we wouldn't lose them. But every time they came back in, we would pick up something new about them. If you were reading something about Trump, which everybody, likes to talk about right now, then it's okay. You can come and read that and you can leave and then you can come back later. Because in that machine, I'm still learning about you and I'm still able to find you later. But I couldn't do this on our main website. For some of you guys, I'm sure you have a main website, a main product website, and the website has to be everything for everyone. Advertising, product, different sides of product. For us, it's politics people, technology editors, etc. Everything is everyone, so nobody kind of wins in this thing. So where's marketing? What can we actually do on top of this? Usually our site was already sold with everything was on it, and advertising that was on it. So what we did was we built a new site just for marketing. That's it. And the thing that one of the biggest differences as you see is that there was nothing on this site. Every box here was all completely dynamic content. And so when we were learning about everybody, the whole point was every time when you would come back, then we would take what we learned about you and then we would take some kind of article that you were interested in and we would push it to you. Maybe it was a video you wanted to watch. Maybe it was something that was a local kind of story. Something was very time sensitive. It was all there. The result is that what you could see is that every person that would come to this marketing site, and we own this, every person that would come would get a different experience. You would read something that you would feel was a personalized experience, because you know what? We understood that what was really, really, really different was that today's customer, they expect you to come to them. They expect you to come to them and give them something that they care about. And you know, if anybody reads The Economist, or you know The Economist, you know the content is great. Some of the best writing in the world. But what does that matter if the writing is stuck inside of a magazine and you have to open the page, or you have to go and buy it? And in some places, it's really, really expensive to get. So we had to take this to 2 people, and that was the test. And so the results of the test were unbelievable, actually. We wanted 500,000 new people just to come in, just so we could give them a little bit something. But people were so excited about this idea, it was so natural for them, that instead of getting 500,000 people, we got 4 million people coming in. And then we doubled our subscription just from that year, just from that 1 year. And and one of the things that happened that we completely did not expect was, most magazines, newspapers are dependent on advertising money and subscription money. And most models are actually this way, and we have a lot of magazines and newspapers that have failed because they couldn't switch over. One of the huge things that was happening was that we actually got enough subscriptions to change the business, so that now the subscription was actually supporting the whole business. We can actually now produce the whole magazine just based on people paying for it, which makes us even more independent and gives us more ability to grow. But the thing is, this all came from one idea and 1%. I started from this place where nobody believed that this could actually happen. You guys know, technology and marketing is not exactly the happiest marriage, all the time. We're trying to figure out exactly how these 2 things really kind of go together, and it's really kind of difficult. So to get a little money, to prove out an idea, is where you start, and then you build on it. So when we're looking at marketing technology, right, what we did every year was we continued the same kind of strategy. We took one idea and proved out that one idea. And so in about 2014, we were working with a DMP platform to get more people, and then we started to explore programmatic. We didn't do anything else. And then last year, we started looking at a CDP, which if anybody wants to talk about that and what it is, that would be great. Hussein mentioned the power of the first-party data earlier. Absolutely there. That's the power, and it's really, really, really important for our growth. So then this year, we have to figure out what we're going to do this year. The ultimate result that came from all the stuff that we're doing based on this one strategy, coming from this one idea, and just trying to improve enough and build something that was going to be automated, was that we quadrupled our subscription revenue. So 4 times more revenue just from subscription in 3 years. And that's supposed to be a E for euro, and I couldn't find the key on the keyboard. Sorry. But what was actually kind of amazing was that even though that went 4 times, I got a little bit more than 1% after some time, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what country we're in. It doesn't matter what industry we're in. If we don't have trust from people that we're working with to either invest in what we're doing, trust what we're doing, then there's no way that we can succeed. So today, we're doing a lot of really, really interesting stuff, and we're much more sophisticated in the background because there's money there. We're doing things like profiles, and we're collecting all this information about people, from the first-party information from all of their website stuff, what they're doing on our apps, even offline. And so we actually have some coffee carts and stuff like that outside in the world where you can drink you can eat insect ice cream, you can have cat shit coffee, And these are all like real things in the world to generate kind of interest. We can actually now pull all this together, and we're creating these kinds of profiles. And there's all this other advanced stuff that you can also do now to create context with the user. I'm mostly showing you this stuff because the important thing around it is that we keep progressing every year because we choose one idea, one big idea, one small idea, and we commit to it. And that's it. And this year we're talking about data science now. Data science is really difficult to understand, but data science is actually now taking all those profiles and all that information we're getting about people, and we can start to actually now predict what people are going to want to read. We're going to also predict what they don't want to see. Because you know what? We have so much content on a regular basis that I don't want to show something to someone that they don't want to see. We have a lot of people these days, you know, politically either very conservative or very liberal, and this is all over the world. And so it's kind of sensitive to when you can choose what you show to somebody. Data science can actually do that because they can do a little prediction and kind of look at the future a little bit. And so we're building this real capability now to have real customer intelligence. We know about our customers, and these are people that they haven't paid us yet. Maybe they will never pay us, but that's okay. Because it's all about the long game now, right, and what we're doing. It's not just about selling to them, like I was saying. It's not just about a campaign that we push today. It's about the machine that we have. That machine will learn over one day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, maybe 5 years, who knows how long it's going to go for. And so this is where we are. This is the big Economist marketing technology stack, and there's a whole bunch of tech that's here. And you know, this doesn't even cover really everything that's there. So if you guys have any questions on this, either talk to me today, find me on LinkedIn, anything. I'm super happy to talk about this because some of this stuff is really difficult to figure out how it all connects. But it's all actually based on this one idea in the middle for us, which is to match the customer to the content at the moment that they want to read something. Because I feel that our job now as a brand is to come with the level of humility and say, I'm not going to just guess that you're going to go and look at inside of a magazine and you're going to read and flip through and find what you want. I have a job to be smarter about the way that I push this content to you at the moment that you want it and what you want to read and what you're feeling. So I want to go back to the fact that this all started with one idea. It all started with amplifying this one idea and taking this strategy and repeating it over and over until we got to the place where we are. So there's a lot of information here, and the thing is your challenge. I don't want to make this sound like this is easy because none of this is easy. Like I mentioned, it was only 2 years ago when I started looking at this, and 2 years ago I was learning. I had no idea what I was doing. It was just always asking questions. What are you using? What are you not using? What did you have? And why did it suck? Why did you love this? We will have to be in a position actually where we're ready to learn about what's going on out there, and that's why I keep repeating, please talk to me if you want to know about a particular thing, because there's a lot of pain and hard work that goes to figuring out what this is. And this is a map of the more than 5,000 marketing platforms that now exist in the world that you can use. Nobody's going to use this. Nobody has the money, or you can't really see that well, but nobody has the money for this or the time to look at 5,000 things. You're not going to get 5,000. You're not even going to look at 1% and get 50 of these platforms. If anybody comes to you and tells you that they understand all of this and they're a master of all this, they're lying. I'm telling you, because every year there's new tech and there's new companies that want to make money and they want to sell you something. So our job is to look under the surface. You have to ask the questions in your business. What do you need to use? What don't you need to use? This is so important, because you know what? All the companies out there, all of the marketing technology platforms, they want your money, and that is number one, and that's what they want from you. They want your money. They will sell you a whole bunch of stuff, and if you don't know how to pick something that's going to work for you, it's not going to be good for anybody. Nobody's going to win. So we go back to that, idea of 1%. We have a job here to be able to. We have a job here where maybe you're the marketer and you have one idea and you don't know how to ask for money. Or maybe you're a boss or a manager and you're not really comfortable with taking risk. We understand that. But the thing is, you have to start from somewhere. You can do this if you just start small. You don't have to solve every problem all at the same time. This is the kind of strategy that we followed. And just from one person and one idea, you can change the conversation. You can create a movement in your company. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Locke? Any questions? Okay, we have it. Just a second. We're gonna tell them all. I have a microphone. Okay.
Hi Steve, I'm here on balcony to your left. Hey. Thanks for your story, it's really interesting. So can you tell us more about, so you had a small budget and it was up to you to make all the calls in the beginning. So how did you choose who to target and how did you address this audience and which channels do you use to spread this message and get these 500K or eventually 4 million leads? Can you tell us more about that?
In the beginning, actually, we went with display advertising. And so we didn't go after the most expensive inventory that was out there. We had an agency that we were working with, and we told them that we had a really, really small budget. And we were putting out some interesting kind of advertising specifically for the Economist honestly, it was very clickbaity. And still the most popular article that exists every single week for the last 10 years, every single week you see it in the top 3, is about prostitution. Everybody wants to read the same damn article on prostitution every week. And so we have an ad, that actually asks people, how much do you think the average man pays for sex? With buttons that you can click, right? Super clickbaity. But the thing is, these things work, and it's super cheap to actually push these particular pieces of banner advertising out. But the real magic that was really going on was that we built the marketing hub, right? And this marketing hub was really different because instead of making everybody just click on an ad and then go to the main site we couldn't do anything with them. I partnered with search marketers, display, social, etc. And I said, I don't want to change anything that you're doing, but except for your URL to click in. Can you click into my marketing hub instead? Because I'm going to help you learn every time and then start to feed that audience back into the platforms, into Facebook, into Google Display Network, into, everything inside of Google that we use. In whichever channel it was. So I wasn't spending money, it was actually then going about partnering with people who were already doing work and offering the ability for them to do something even better. And so that marketing hub was really key to all of our strategy.
We'll have it.
Hi.
Here.
Hi, Steve.
Okay,
You're welcome
just a
as well.
second.
Yep, here I am. Hello, mate.
Up there. Together.
Just for the lecture, it was great. And that campaign won some awards. The display campaign you were talking about. Yeah, it was great. You basically answered it, but I'm thinking about how much of a benefit the thing you've done for The Economist itself, were you able to transfer to the advertisers that bought space on The Economist as well? If I'm being clear, in the sense of you getting so much information out of your little experiment, were you able to monetize that further by employing that data, getting it to serve the advertisers on the Economist as well?
It's a great question. Because it was a particular challenge that we had where at first when I, to be honest, before I pitched the idea of building the new site, I just built it. And because generally I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission first to do something. So, because sometimes you just can't get anything done if you always have to go through people and get yes from everybody. So I just built it so that it could actually have some, value there first. But one of the challenges in that specifically was that when the advertising team found out that we were doing this, immediately they said, well, you're stealing traffic from us. So you're lowering our inventory numbers. I'm not sure how it works here, but I know in London, I'm based out of London, although I'm American. We report numbers to ABC, and ABC then standardizes those for standard inventory numbers for a particular company for advertising purchasing on that site. What we did was we worked with them directly to ask them exactly where they were getting the numbers from and what counted as a visit and where. And it was kind of difficult to figure out because, to be honest with you, I was talking to a lot of advertising folks that really weren't that advanced with their understanding of the way that websites work. So I had to go there, talk to the data people, talk to the ABC people, and actually we just found out the way we needed to run the same analytics platform in the background to capture the same pages. So what ended up happening was we ended up changing this problem into a benefit for the advertising folks because they never really benefit directly from all the money that was being spent for advertising coming to Economist.com. And we decided to spend a lot more money. There's a lot of paid advertising going on. We didn't exactly, sometimes people would get directed to Facebook, sometimes people would get directed to all these different areas. And so it was part of the asking everybody to come in and actually go to the marketing hub. Because we could actually record all of those hits directly, we actually drove their inventory numbers up. I don't remember how much it was, but it was probably 2 or 3 times more, so everybody was really happy. They went from like really kind of hating me, to totally just hugging me in the hallway. So.
Okay, still we should lock. We just have one more downstairs. Odmah pored režije, ako može mikrofon, gospodin je digao ruku nešto ranije i moramo onda da završimo sa pitanjima, pošto moramo da pratimo raspored. Evo gospodine ovdje, samo dignite malo više ruku. Evo, mikrofon stiže. Just one more and then we have to follow schedule. Sorry.
Thank you, Steve, for your presentation. It was really interesting. Just a short question. It's about the usual stuff, cannibalization between print and digital. How do you see this kind of political debate? Because you show the increased number of subscription, for example, but at the same time it would be nice to know what has happened with the printed side.
I can tell you what happened. I probably can't tell you why it happened. But of course we worry about the same things, and there was a lot of worry about that. We have a print product and we have a digital product. Something that we did that I was not involved in, but was effective was that there was the pricing was changed for the different products. So it used to be that the premium, if you wanted the print product and you wanted the digital product together, you would have to kind of almost pay 200%. You would kind of pay, a small discount. And instead, we actually changed the pricing strategy so that essentially, let's say you paid $100 for print only or $100 for digital only. We lowered the bundle price, and the bundle price is $125. So there's only about a 25% premium on that. And there was, again, I think somebody had a good idea somewhere to say that this would work. I think there was a lot of money spent, honestly, on research and all these companies that do this kind of market research. But it really did work. And what happened was that we saw when people were subscribing that most people pick both. They feel that they're getting value out of it. right? So there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's really good. But and something interesting on the side that we've also learned over the last few years is that people love digital, but they also love to have something they can pick up. And maybe this is something was special with The Economist. The Economist experience, when you read, is kind of like a book. It's like a short book. It's not easy to get through. You know, it's very dense. Articles, very dense language. There's a lot in it. Even probably the smartest person that I know takes 3 hours to read it from beginning to end. But they do it every week. They do it beginning to end. They would never give up their print subscription. But they don't want to take it with them when they're traveling for work. So they want the digital piece. So in terms of cannibalization, you know, directly between, we were so worried about it. We were super, super worried about it. But in reality, the product itself was kind of selling itself on both ends. So I wish I could tell you why. Because I would love to know why. But you know, people are people, right? They're going to behave the way they do.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. Additional questions outside? Once again. Thank you.